Okay, let's move on to day number 5. So I finished up 4, as you just saw me complete. And love the way this turned out. So I cut this paper to fit on the back of that because I already knew based on putting my album together that for story 5 I wanted to incorporate these papers somehow from the numbers scrapbooking kit from Ali Edwards and this great number 5 that's on a piece of vellum, and I feel like I'm going to have it in this corner. What I'm already realizing in my doing this, not that I'm behind, I mean I technically am when you're seeing this video, and today is actually the 8th when I'm filming, but I do have my stories. I just have to do all the creative put together of the pages. So I'm realizing that what's holding me up in the first 4 or so, no, 3, because the last one is typing up the journaling. You know, for me, I only have a laser printer. It's just black. And especially when I'm using either sticker paper or vellum, I kind of want to use up the page really well. So I hold off on journaling so that I can print off maybe 4 days and batch it on one 8x10 piece of paper in essence. So that's what's holding up some of the layouts because I didn't finish them all because I'm like, oh, I still have to print it and I'm waiting for another story to add on that page. So this one, we're just going to start writing. We're going to use my beautiful handwriting and just kind of keep the train moving. So like I said, I thought I was going to type this out too, but if I'm holding off to print this for days 6 and 7 stories, like I said, this is how I get behind. So I don't want to do that. So we're going to be hand writing our stories out. And so initially what I thought I wanted to do, I have this 5x7 and I wanted to do a bunch of like flips. So let me count the ways. Initially I wanted to do like ways I love you or ways I love Christmas, and I still can gear it towards that way. But particularly actually on this day, actually no, it was the 4th though. I think I'm always like a day behind. So my day 5 is always like a story from before. Anyways, we did a lot on a Sunday. She actually started off she had a fever on and off all day long. So we had to do indoor things. So I put up our family gallery wall. We did a school project, which would be day 6's story for Monday when she goes to school. So actually this is the 5th. This is Sunday. We made cake pops. We did our lawn ornaments or lawn inflatables. And then we also baked cookies. So we actually did like 5 different things that day. So that's where I'm going with it. So at first too, I was thinking I wanted to have these 4 there and then make all of these flips, opens, so that you would see the bigger photo. And I do really like that. I do really like that. So I might actually save this idea for another story later on. Only because, I mean, no only because I just feel like this is a little bit busy and they really don't blend well together. Like, you know how sometimes we format photos and collages so that they have a cohesiveness. I just find that there's no cohesive, like there is like beigey brown, but then it's like black and white, and then a little bit from her shirt, and then this is like pink and red, and then the white. So you can see what I mean. So what I'm thinking of doing is just making it a flip page with this Santa paper and making it look like a present like that with this ribbon. I forgot what this ribbon was from. It's from something I just got delivered. You know, put a bow, and then we'll just have this flip out and make it like that. And that way I can have all 4 of these on this side still, not a problem, and have this journaling link to it, and then have that big 5x7 there. And that way, conspicuously, it just looks like a present with this great red and red and red. So that's what we're constructing today for story number 5. Let's get started. So let's get started. So I want to start with making the flip page on the opposite side. And so I just was using the paper that was from the scrapbook kit, and now I'm just lining it up, and it lines up perfectly as all Ali Edwards products should. So I'm making sure I just leave a lip where it doesn't block the holes, because I didn't want to do the whole thing where I had to slice them open and have to tuck it into it. So I just made the room, started it back a little bit with a little bit like a 1/2 inch extra in order to make a slight 1/2 inch fold to make the flip using the Santa paper. So that's what I was thinking about right now, is like, do I make the flip or how do I do it? You know what I've lost recently is like what is that board that does the scoring? I cannot find that darn thing. So it's a little wonky and such, but that's okay with me. It still worked out, and I always use my like
other end of the scissors, the handles, as like a bone folder, and it works out just as good. So here's that ribbon that I had from, honestly, it must have been like some cookies or something from like Harry and David or something. I think I just kept the ribbon, and it's a great red grosgrain ribbon, so it worked out great. And I just did a cute little flat bow that'll be decorating the outside, but I didn't adhere the bow yet, just so that I can have a flat surface still adhere those 4 3x4 photos. And once the photo I was looking at on the numbered outline paper, it just needed a border, so I just used that green plaid. It's from a paper pad from Michaels, and it gave a nice contrast and added a little bit more color because it's mostly white, which is fine. Like I said, I just wanted to add color. So these are a bunch of thicker packs that are all like Christmas related, and you will see me add Baking Spirits Bright to the photo with her holding her snowman cake pop. And then I will be adding some puffy stickers to one of the 3x4s. I just don't film me doing that in here, which is fine. And that was it as far as like embellishments goes for this layout. Just because, again, it's a flap. If I added anything too bulky, then it would always warp the paper. So I was just being conscious of that when doing this. And then I just went ahead and added a few of the holly little clusterings to each photo just to tie the 2 layouts together. And here I am just attaching my little flap. And then this will go on the back side of day 4. I will do my journaling. Sorry to hear my dog. Journaling off camera for Let Me Count the Ways, just 5 things that we did and how I love my daughter so much.
Okay, let's get started on story number 6. Story number 6 is going to be about our family project for her class. They sent home one during Thanksgiving to decorate or disguise a turkey so that the turkeys can hide in their classroom, and we made it into a mermaid. This month it is to hide a gingerbread man so that he won't get eaten, apparently. So that's the story that will be happening. So I'm deciding if I want to put this 5x7 just as a 6x8 one-sided layout on this gorgeous like glittery silver paper, or just do it on white. And I do have a complaint because I purchased the Nina Bright White cardstock, and let me tell you, the white that is printed on this thing is way whiter than the paper itself. This is the Nina White. Can everyone, I mean, maybe I'm just losing my mind, but this is like the printed little like label, and that is way whiter than this. It's like, to me, it's tinted yellow. I mean, I would still say it's white, but this is not white. Now, this is a piece of cardstock from Michaels, and look at it even compared to it. It's like creamy, and this is more like, okay, like a gray white, but still, I almost prefer the cheap stuff from Michaels, and this is the Nina Bright White presentation paper. Like, what? Okay, anyways, that's me complaining and being very picky, but this to me is definitely like creamy yellow, but I'm not gonna, and even so here's what we're doing. Here's what I'm planning to do. I have just spent the last 20 minutes cutting out every fringy piece of foliage I could with my cutter bug, and have made tons of different little sprigs, okay? And what I want to do is make it a lush perimeter around this, which is why I didn't make it as an 8x10. I just want to add all of this goodness all the way around, if you can get my drift. Okay, so that's why I'm like, should I do it on white and just have this whole white on white magnificentness here, or do it on the glitter paper? I just feel like, yes, the monotone on the white looks great, but I feel like this just stands out more a little bit with having it on the silver. That just looks like really special. And I've pulled a couple of different 6s. So you see this one here, I'm not sure. And definitely there's just gonna be a tuck tag between the pages. I also kind of just like this galvanized 6. So that could look nice with the silver. Or I have the white one from Allie Edwards. But that's all pretty too. And so the main reason too is because in amongst this, I saw Heidi Swap she did all the foliage and she made it into like a tree tag. And then she included all of the rock candy and then the mica flakes in between all of it, and it just looked like the most frosted goodness ever. So I knew I bought these wanting to use them, so this might be the layout to use them on. So we are going to figure this out together. I feel like I'm going to do it on this glitter silver paper. And don't get me wrong, I wish if I do, okay, once I cut it out, the 6x8, you know, to be outside the page protector, I may want to gut the middle just because this paper is so pretty, but I could always buy more too. So I'm torn. So that's the thing. So is it this, or am I doing a white on white moment? I mean, the white on white looks nice too. It really does. But maybe, you know what, we'll still go with the silver because it's December daily, it's festive, it's supposed to be glittery and beautiful and all that goodness. So let's just cut and use this. And I do have this, it was a 4x6 card that I made look into a tag. So this is what I'm talking about being in between both pages, because the other side is story 5, which was a lot of journaling. So there will be room there because I just didn't want to also have it as like a on the other side of the rings, just because my day 7 is going to be acetate pieces that make a circle. So I just didn't want this like blocking it and having it there. I just wanted story 6 and then story 7 is the reason behind that too. Okay, let's get cutting this down and follow me along.
So I do use the silver glitter paper, which I am so happy with the end result. So I'm glad I made that choice, even though if you decide to do this and you don't have silver and you used a white cardstock, white on white monochromatic would have had this look just as superb. Now I will do a spoiler alert real quick. The mixed media of the rock candy and the mica flakes makes this layout fantastic. You guys, it turns out so beautiful. So here I am just kind of auditioning because I put all this tape on there just to kind of adhere both the pages back to back. And then I remembered last minute, I'm so glad I did, about the tag that I want to hide behind it because I don't want to have anything punched in the rings. I just want day 6 to be on one side and 7 on the other because I have to save space, because believe it or not, I'm only on, what is it, after this video, day 7. And it's getting chunky. You guys, I don't know how I'm going to fit all 25 stories in one album. I've always managed this whole time up until now, so I definitely just want to be conscious of making some of my layouts one-sided, and not everything has to have a 2-page spread, which is going to be hard. So I just put some vellum on there so you can see where I can insert the tag, and it'll be perfect and have a place to tuck underneath it. So once I adhered my picture, I also, learn from my mistakes. Protect your picture, especially like the faces, because I did get a little bit of glue on mine, hindsight looking back. So just protect it, because doing all of this glue and adhesion of all of these sprigs, it was bound to happen, and it totally did. So I do take the time. I don't let you watch me just add all these layers, but I add a good initial layer, and then I go in for extra layer, and then whatever was left was going in for even more of a layer. It turns out to be so luscious. There's my little Moana. I have a new dachshund, you guys, and I'm in love with her. Yes, follow me on social media so you can see her little antics, because she's getting along with my golden doodle really well. She's a little feisty one. So here I am with, coming back to it. This is 3 or 4 layers of all those sprigs and little foliage used. It turned out so good. So it's the first time using these products though. So initially I was just using glossy accents just because Heidi Swap does use these products and she always used glossy accents. So I did have some in my stash. So using the rock candy first, and this is just very textured, clear glitter that gives a very crunchy, almost frosted look. It looks fantastic, but the one that steals the show is the one I use next, which is the mica flakes. I use the glossy accent still. I add a little dollop of glossy accent, and then kind of just push the mica flakes. So here's with the mica into it. So my fingers kind of got, crusty too, but the effect is beautiful. You guys, get some mica flakes. It adds the most nice like texture. Again, it's opal, it's flaky, it looks shiny, and it just adds such interest to this border that I am in love with it. In love with it. I probably have to try it out with other mediums like for adhesion, but this glossy accent worked well.
Okay, you guys, I think mica flakes might be my new most favorite, oh my god, like bling accessory. It's opaly, it's like chunky, it's textured. That is beautiful. Like, look at that. I'm gonna add this on everything. And I got glue on her face. Ugh, I should have been blocking it the whole time. Let's be honest. Should have. But it's okay. Wow. All right, let's finish off this page. This is amazing. Such Christmassy goodness for a good story on her project. Let's continue. Okay, let's wrap up story 5 and 6, or day 5 and 6. So this one I just zoomed in for you to see it all. So I did all my journaling handwritten, like I said I would, because keeping up with the typing was not going to work. And I definitely made it geared towards our day and the 5 things we did. But each of them had a kind of like pinnacle moment, that something like that I love about my daughter. So that was clever. And I adhered this with some liquid glue so that you didn't see any adhesive, and very minimal liquid glue. That way it doesn't warp the paper itself. My little bow present here turned out fantastic, and then it flips out to here. I added those puffy stickers here that says Baking Spirits Bright. And then off screen, I added some puffy stickers that says Yummy Cookies for Me and Santa Claus on there. And it's a simple one. So remember I was going over in, what was it, day 3, how this was a much more easier approach than when I did this flip and trying to leave like the border of the frame. And this, so that's what I should have done, was just make the entire page a flip out, and it would have made it a lot easier to construct. But together, this right here looks fantastic. I just definitely love the gift that I made, and I get to use that great pattern paper in my album and have it forever. And then day 6, I didn't film it, but I just added the galvanized number 6 right there on the bottom. I went with the big silver one just because it felt like it fit this whole motif. This looked great. And then I did make room for that tag. I did my journaling handwritten again. And I just garnished it with some pink and like opaly white ribbons, and just because it was all gold foiled and stuff, and then red and white. So I just love the way this turned out, and there is a pocket up there for it to kind of stick. Love that so much. This whole, this mixed media yumminess was so good. I hope you have enjoyed your time with me. Please subscribe, hit the bell notification next to it so you know when I upload, and give this video a thumbs up, everyone. Thanks for joining me. Till next time. Bye.